If you're the parent of a teenage driver, you know that it costs a ton of money to add your teenager to your car insurance policy. In fact, on average, it costs $215 a month just to add your teenager to your car insurance policy. But don't worry, that's the purpose of this video. I'm going to give you some tips as to what you can do to save money when you add your teenager. And also I am going to give you the best companies for insuring teenage drivers. Let's first talk about why it costs so much to insure teenage drivers. A lot of people hear that average of $215 and they immediately get so upset at the insurance company and say, that's a ripoff. Why should I pay $215 a month just to insure my teenage driver? Well, if you remember from prior videos, we'll link it up here, insurance companies don't just charge premiums willy-nilly. They don't just go out and say, hey, we want to rip these people off and make as much money as we can. So today we're going to charge this much and then tomorrow we'll charge this much. No, that's not how it works. The insurance companies look at the data and based off of what the data shows, they charge the correct premium. Can you imagine what the data shows on teenage drivers? The data shows it's not a matter of if they get in an accident, but it's a matter of when your teenage driver is going to get into an accident. Teenage drivers cost insurance companies lots of money. Therefore, insurance companies have to charge you lots of money in your monthly premium. But again, don't worry. Let's jump into the tips and things that you can do to make sure that you're getting the best possible deal when insuring your teenage driver. Tip number one for saving money on your car insurance with your teenage driver is to make sure that your teenage driver is a good student. Almost every single insurance company is going to give you a sizable discount, a very hefty discount, if you can simply prove through a progress report or report card that your student has an average GPA of 3.0 or better, or in other words, all they have to do is average all Bs. Make sure they do that, send proof to your insurance company, and you will get that discount. And again, it can be a very sizable and hefty discount. Tip number two to save money with your teenage driver is to have your teenage driver take a safety defensive driver course. Now, not as many insurance companies offer discounts anymore for having taken the safety course. If they do, it's usually not a huge discount. However, number one, it's still a discount and we'll all take discounts where we can get them. But number two, it's very good to have all teenage drivers take that course. Almost all the courses really impress upon their minds the importance of driving safe. They show examples of what happens when you don't drive safe, and it really sets the expectation and the foundation for your teenage driver to be a safe driver for the rest of their lives. And if they're safe drivers, they have less accidents, they get less tickets, and that, of course, is going to keep your premiums low, which is what we want. Tip number three is to purchase an older vehicle where you can only add liability instead of having to add comprehensive and collision. Now, a lot of people make the mistake, they have a teenage driver, they're proud of their teenage driver, and they want to go out and buy a really nice car where they have to add comprehensive and collision coverage to that vehicle. Imagine their surprise when they go out and buy their 16-year-old a very nice vehicle and they call the insurance company to insure that new vehicle and the new driver, and suddenly it's costing them an extra $300 a month just to insure that driver and that vehicle. If you have the extra money and you want to splurge and get your teenage driver an awesome car, great. But if you're trying to find the most affordable insurance, get them an older vehicle that they're gonna learn on. If they get a few dents or bumps in it, it's okay, and it's gonna save you money on your car insurance. So buy an older vehicle where you can only add liability and you're gonna save a decent amount of money. Tip number four is to make sure that your teenage driver gets added onto your policy instead of having them get their own policy. Having them get their own policy is problematic in a number of different ways, which we won't go into today. We'll just talk about why it's problematic when it comes to saving money. If you go and get them their own policy, it could be as much as double the premium as if you just added them on to the parent's policy. Now, insurance companies, they have an insurance score, insurance history, similar to credit history. And a young teenage driver that's never been insured obviously does not have an insurance history. Therefore, they're going to be charged more. versus you as the parent, you have that insurance history, you have the lower rates. It's much more effective and cheaper to add them on to your own policy instead of getting them their own policy. And the last tip for saving money when it comes to adding your teenage driver is to utilize the insurance company's telematic program. Now what this is, most every insurance company has a program now where you can either plug something into your vehicle or download an app on your phone. And when you do that, the insurance company is going to track your driving habits, and you as a parent have access to that. So you can see how your teenager is driving. It monitors things like time of day they're driving, if they're making hard stops, braking fast, if they're accelerating fast, and each company kind of monitors a few other things as well. So it's very effective for you as a parent to be able to monitor these things on a daily basis and then use that information that you get to work with your child to help them improve their driving skills. And if they can improve their driving skills quickly and perform well on these things that they're measuring them with, the insurance company is going to give them a discount if they are driving as a safe driver. And telematics is something that's available to everybody. It's not just for teenage drivers. You as parents can do it as well, and if you're a good driver, you'll receive a discount on your car insurance. So those are the 5 tips to save money when adding your teenage driver to your car insurance policy. Now let's talk about which companies have the best rates when it comes to adding your teenage driver. Now keep in mind, this comes from national studies. A lot of these studies only take into consideration the larger, well-known companies, and they don't take into account the smaller regional insurance companies. A lot of times, those smaller companies that are just as good, just as financially secure, can offer really, really good rates. So these are the best national companies. However, this just highlights the importance of using an insurance broker because they have access to a number of different companies and they can shop around and find the best rates. But I'm going to give you a list right now of the best companies, national companies, when it comes to the best pricing for your teenage driver. And again, I'm not necessarily recommending these companies. I'm just giving you the information and telling you which is the cheapest. The first company is Progressive. Everybody knows Progressive. Progressive historically has really good rates for teenage drivers. Progressive is one of the companies that we work with, and we put a lot of young drivers with Progressive. And overall, Progressive is a pretty good company. We write a lot of business with them, and we're happy with them in terms of customer service and claims. The second company is State Farm. This one was kind of surprising to me, but the data shows State Farm has decent rates for teenage drivers. They're not a company that we recommend. They're not a company that we work with. However, if you're trying to find the best rate for your teenage driver, they may be a company you want to look at. The third company is USAA. Now, many people know USAA. A lot of clients of USAA are diehard, lifelong clients of USAA. You have to be a military family to be able to sign up with USAA. This is another company that we don't work with. However, they tend to have good rates for teenage drivers. So if you qualify to sign up with USAA, it may be worth it to look at a quote. The fourth company that has good rates for your teenage driver is Travelers Insurance. We do a lot of work with Travelers Insurance as well. They are a very good company, and they tend to have really good rates for teenage drivers. And then the last company is Geico. Everybody knows Geico, everybody knows the lizard. They also have really competitive rates for teenage drivers. They're not necessarily a company we recommend because they don't work with agents. They historically aren't a company that tries to educate you and make sure you get the best coverage. But if you're looking for the very cheapest way to insure your teenage driver, you may want to take a look at Geico Insurance. So there you have it. Long story short, work with a broker. I always say that, but when you work with a broker, they know all these tips that I just gave you. They have access to a bunch of different companies. As I always say, they can take your individual personal circumstance, they can search all of their companies, and then they can find a company that, one, is going to give you really good rates for your teenage driver, but two, a company that is going to give you good coverage for your teenage driver. Anytime I make videos about saving money, I always hesitate a little bit because at the end of the day, the most important thing is to have the best coverage, especially when it comes to teenage drivers. As I said earlier, it's not a matter of if, but when they get in a car accident. And when they do get in a car accident, you want to make sure, one, that they're going to be covered and protected, and two, that you are not going to take a huge financial blow or loss because your teenager caused a lot of injuries to themselves and other people. So number one, protect yourself with the best coverage. And then number two, take everything we said in this video and go out and make sure that you find the best price for your teenage driver. Thank you for watching. As always, if you have questions, comments, want me to cover a certain topic, leave them down below in the comments and I will make the video just for you.